All right. A little low. All right, Allison.
Hi.
Let me read you a little thing. I'm particularly pissed off at Jake Tapper these days just because he was ridiculously pathetic with yesterday with talking about having Adam Schiff on, and Schiff saying, yes, I believe there's actionable things against Donald Trump, and the Tapper's like, so you believe there will be charges against him? He's like, Jake, I don't want to give away our hand quite yet, but I do believe that the president has broken the law. And it's the second time this dude has done this, and Jake ate it up the first time with the Mueller thing. That's a huge embarrassment. At some point, people will have to look back and say, all that stuff planted by Democrats, chased by the FBI. The Mueller report shows nothing wrong about the Trumps.
Right.
And Mueller himself is senile up in the stand, has no idea what's in the Mueller report. Nobody knows. There's nothing to it. And Democrats act as if it was almost conclusive, but not totally. It's crap. All this stuff is crap. These people are frauds. Frauds. And so I'm mad at Jake Tapper that he keeps having these people on. He won't have the Trump people on, but he'll have these people on because they're not like... Okay, so then I look at this, Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper's daughter, Alice, interesting name, almost died after being misdiagnosed. And she is such a lovely girl. Jake Tapper's 15-year-old daughter, Alice Tapper, revealed she almost died from appendicitis last year after doctors misdiagnosed her. Alex explained in a new op-ed for CNN that she was hospitalized after developing severe abdominal pain and a fever, so her parents asked about the possibility of appendicitis. However, because she was tender all over and not just on one side, doctors dismissed the possibility and concluded she had a viral infection. I got sicker and my skin started turning a pale green. As Monday turned into Tuesday, I was only given Tylenol for my pain, Alice wrote. My mom asked the doctors why I couldn't get a sonogram to see what was happening inside my abdomen. They said it wasn't needed. My dad asked why I couldn't get antibiotics. The doctor said for viral infection, they could do more harm than good. My parents kept pushing for a gastroenterologist who might have more insight about my condition to evaluate me, but no one ever came. Alice said she began to feel helpless and alarmed by the lack of recognition I received from the hospital. I was not being heard. When I described to the doctors how much pain I was in, they responded with condescending looks. Been there, Alice. In these big freaking hospitals, reputable teaching hospitals, condescending a-hole doctors. They're the worst. They're the worst. The worst. Doctors, you are, except for Toe's husband, the worst.
He's a dentist.
Yeah, but I think he's a doctor too. I think he's got a lot of stuff. You're the worst. Condescending, arrogant, impatient pricks. All of them. Give me, nurses are angels, doctors are devils. I'm sorry. The famous broadcaster ultimately pulled rank. That's what you have to do in a hospital because you can't trust these MFs.
Yeah, you really do have to use whatever you have in the hospital with doctors.
Who's the hot woman from the CDC? Rochelle Walensky. Can't trust the dwarf from the NIH. Can't trust Francis Collins, who's a psychotic. You can't trust these people. They're over-credentialed. They think there's nobody more ignorant than doctors. They think they are God's gift. And they are just as psychotic and as competent as everybody else. The famous broadcaster ultimately pulled rank and called a hospital administrator and demanded some sort of imaging be done for his daughter. An ultrasound revealed she had a perforated appendix and was leaking toxic fluids into her internal organs, so she was rushed to emergency surgery. Thank God Dr. Tapper was working that night.
I know.
God, I hate these people. I hate these people. And I have a personal problem with both of my parents died of cancer, and two very different stories. One who learned how to navigate the system and not trust anybody, including most doctors, and had, although a longer, more drawn out, horribly horrific time, a better time, and one who trusted doctors implicitly. Me and my brother were there, my dad, and who got screwed by the system, and it was terrible. I would never forgive those MFs. If there is a nuclear bomb that goes off in Lebanon, New Hampshire, I'm fine with that. The famous broadcaster ultimately pulled rank. God bless him for doing that. If you don't do that, you can't assume these people know what's best for you. And called hospital administrator, ultrasound revealed she was rushed into emergency surgery. I had sepsis, and we would later learn I was going into a hypervolemic shock, which can cause organs to stop working. That night was the scariest night of my life, she wrote, adding that after leaving the ICU, she stayed in the hospital for an additional week, bedridden with uncomfortable drains in her body. It's great being a 15-year-old girl and have to worry about the uncomfortable drains in your body. I could barely walk. I didn't recognize the helpless, hunchbacked, green, exhausted girl. She's got away with words, too. I saw in the hospital mirror, she said. Months later, Alice went into a different hospital for an appendectomy, and her health since has returned to normal. The teenager came forward with her story to spread awareness of high rates of appendicitis, misdiagnosis, and those who don't have parents who can get the phone number of the hospital administrator. Great point. Great point. I still can't believe this happened to me, she concluded, and I don't want it to happen to anybody else. This is great.
Right.
This is, and it's so telling. So let me tell you, I have a personal, though slightly less important story. And this is really about universal F-Headery happening. Since you and I are going to...
Universal what?
F-Headery.
What's F-Headery?
What do you think F stands for, Alice?
I can guess the F.
Okay.
What's headery?
It's what an F-head practices.
Oh, I see. Okay. I had never heard it put together quite that way. Dictionary.com word of the year for 2023, I bet.
So a couple days ago, feel it for a second.
I thought you were going for like H-E-T-T-E-R-Y. I couldn't. F-headery. I couldn't figure out what that was trying to be.
Because Alice and I are traveling to Connecticut, possibly tomorrow. We believe tomorrow.
Definitely tomorrow.
Okay. And I no longer want to. I'm now 50 years old, just about.
Right.
I am sick in my teens, in my 20s. I lugged heavy guitar amps and equipment around all over the place. And in my 30s, I took a little time off from lugging, I gotta admit. But in my late 30s and 40s, I was at Boston Herald Radio. I was back to lugging. I was absolutely...
You were Mr. Heavy Equipment?
Yes. I was Mr. Lugging. Lugging amps, lugging tables, lugging mixers, lugging speakers, lugging all microphone stands. I'm the world's most unpaid roadie in the history of all broadcasting. So I'm sick of lugging our stuff down to New Hampshire to do our podcast.
Connecticut, you mean?
Yes, that's right. And so I've made executive decision, and I've ordered. The only things we'll be lugging now. I've got a go bag with all the equipment we're gonna need, and there's a 2-channel mixer that supposedly is waiting for us. Will be waiting for us in Connecticut via whatever place, BH photo, whatever the place.
Yeah.
And there's a splitter for microphones, for headphones. The chances of those actually arriving in a hotel, I assume, are about 11%. You know, but fine. So I'm sick of lugging stuff.
Okay.
So I ordered this online. Now my preference was to order them in person, so I could look around, feel it, get a feel for it, talk to somebody about it. Which means that I had to go, when I went to Awaken 180 Friday, I had to go also to one of the few places around here that's got some mixers, Guitar Center.
Okay.
Now, I'm not, guys, I know some of you are sensitive about me joking about committing suicide, and I'm just being tongue-in-cheek when I do it. That said, the only times I've ever in my whole time contemplated taking my own life are whenever I've been, and this includes in my late teens to now, whenever I've been in a music store.
Okay.
The F-Headery, Alice.
Okay.
The F-Head who works in a music store has not changed since 1990, and probably since 1970. They're all the same person. They're always cooler than me. They always have something better to do than to talk to me. They're always, I'm called dude or man or hey, you know, whatever. Okay, fine, okay. So the other places where I want to take my own life are the Shaws in Melrose, Massachusetts. That's it. And when I used to go there, I actually used to think about it. Like, can I actually just buy this rope from and
You'd have to shoplift it because they don't usually have a way to let you actually purchase things in that store. It's always a problem.
The only way there used to be was the self-checkout, and so they got rid of it. So there's now no way.
And it was funny because then we were back there for something. This was like even a year or two ago, and they had brought the self-checkouts back, but it didn't work, and it called over a person to help me because it couldn't. You couldn't check me out. I've literally never had a smooth checkout experience in the Melrose Shaws.
So, so I go to the Guitar Center.
Mm-hmm.
Guitar Center. Oh God, if I hear somebody practicing freaking chords on an electric guitar, but half-ass practicing, they could nail it if they wanted to. Oh God, please. Anyway, so I go and I ask the dude. I don't want to talk to anybody, any dude. I just want to see this stuff. But a dude catches me walking in. He says, "Oh yeah, dude, what do you need? You need to? Can I help you with something?" And I go, "Yeah. Can I have?" This dude was okay. Can I have? I'm looking for mixers, like USB mixers. He goes, "Oh yeah, way back there, left of that ladder, over your left." I go back there. There's dudes talking who all work there with Guitar Center shirts. They're talking amongst themselves. They are not interested in what I'm looking for. I'm looking around. I see used stuff. I see this stuff, that stuff, this stuff, this. They are not at all interested. Two of the guys leave, and then the third one leaves. So now there's nobody there at all. Now I'm looking around, and I do see some mixers, some USB mixers. And this is excellent. So now I'm standing in front of the glass case where a dude should be, in front of a couple of USB mixers that I'd like to know something about. I just want to see the box. I'd read on this dude comes walking back, punching numbers or something, info into his phone, right in front of me with his Guitar Center shirt, right in front of me, goes behind the glass thing, turns on a dime, slowly punching more stuff into his phone, looks left up at me, back to his phone, and begins making his way out of there. I said, "Oh, can I see this mixer for a second?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, hold on." And he just grabs the mixer and he throws it on the glass thing, and off he goes. And he's gone. So at this point, I thought to myself, at this point, I hate him and Guitar Center.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, what is the right thing to do here? Part of me thought to myself, Alice, what did part of me think that I should do?
Leave?
What did also a smaller part of me think I should do?
Off yourself?
Well, that's always that's a
I don't
third.
know.
I thought for a second, what if I just take this thing,
And leave with it?
walk right out, and when he stops me, if they stop me, dude, oh, I thought of ringing it up. I don't know. My mind's in the sky too, man. I don't know. Did I not? Okay. Anyway, I decided just to say F it. And so now I've decided to, that's why I ordered the thing from wherever, and we'll see if it gets there. But much like with the doctors, who a whole team of them said, and it was the same thing with my own dad, who a whole team of them came over and said, it's very important that he leave today. You should leave today. You should leave today. And we were like, are you sure? He seems pretty much close to death, and we don't know what to do if he's dead. And they said, oh, yeah, absolutely. Next day, done. That's it. But no, they knew. They were a committee of people who knew. And between the Guitar Center guy and the doctors working on Jake Tapper's kid, we've got a problem. Nobody seems to know anything anymore. I mean, I don't remember the last time when I thought, wow, what a totally competent dude. What a really competent person doing something. And there used to be always the best at something somewhere. There was no doubt about that. There used to be even when I was at concierge in Boston, there was a best ticket broker. He could always count on him. His name was Hank. He was down in the theater district. He sold tickets in the theater district, Alice, from a trailer.
Right.
A trailer. The trailer is odd for the theater district. Alice, that's not why it's just right.
Okay, I believe you.
Okay. But Hank was the best. He was the best at getting the tickets. He had no limits when you marked up tickets and, made sure to screw Yankee fans by jacking up tickets by $300 each. No problemo. How it used to work is that Hank, I would have some New York a-hole in front of me and say, yeah, we're from the city. We want three tickets, the best you got to the Yankees game. And that's all I needed to hear. And of course, he'd call it the Yankees game, just even though it's in Fenway Park against the Red Sox because they're New York a-holes. They're all Trumps, really. And so Hank, I'd say, Hank, do you have three of the best tickets? I have a Yankees fan here who would like them. Three of the best tickets that we have for the game tonight. And Hank would go, yeah, I get field box tickets, $200 each. And I would cup the phone and say to the guy, yeah, we have field box tickets, $400 each. And because they're big swinging D New Yorkers, We'll take them. Yeah, that's his way of showing that he was no bitch. He'd take the big tickets, and then so I get my, whatever, $600. Hank would send the tickets up and send $600 up in cash instantly. He was the best. The best. Now it's like, now there's StubHub and all this stuff. Oh, there's no more Hanks. All the independent guys are gone.
Well, yeah, the StubHub is sucking up the $600 now. And
right, or they're into like
Ticketmaster
human
and
trafficking now,
else.
whatever. But they used to be the worst guys too. There was a lot of bad guys who were not reliable, who would make promises to you that they wouldn't keep, who would try to supplement, like people would say sometimes, yeah, I want 50-yard line tickets to the Patriots. Back then nobody liked the Patriots, but 50-yard line to the Patriots, like first 5 rows, and I'd say to the scalper, okay, 50-yard line, first 5 rows, and they'd give me a price or whatever. Sometimes they'd like actually have the 80th yard line in the nosebleeds and send those, but also send like Barnum and Bailey tickets to make up for it. Like, no, that's not. Those guys are the worst. Yeah. And some guys are just unreliable because they would just find homeless people and make them wait in line and with cash. And the homeless people are not necessarily going to stay in line with cash. So it was just a bad scene. But now it seems like there's not even like, who's the best on radio? Who's the best person on the radio?
Like in Boston or anywhere?
Anywhere. Buck and
Clay Travis.
Clay Travis? I don't think so.
Dana
I think they're
Lash.
fine. Dana Lash? I don't think so. It's not Tom Shattuck either. It's not Howie. Howie's taking a bit of an interesting turn.
Jeff Cooner.
That's not even funny, Alice. He was on the ground floor
There's
of subpar.
There's probably local people in some markets.
I don't know who's good anymore. Who's the best? Like Rush Limbaugh was the best in radio. That was the gold standard. And then some people followed Rush and were like Rush knockoffs who were fine. Hannity was fine. Whatever. It's a Larry Prager. Dennis Prager.
Well, it's not radio, but I'll tell you who's the best in terms of a conservative media show is Tucker, obviously.
Yes.
He does the best show. He's always right where people are. He's got original opinions.
I disagree when you say right where people are. He also...
Well, he's the bleeding edge of where people are. I'll put
Yes.
it that way. He reads everything. He sees everything, including the extreme fringes, by the way. He definitely reads a lot of very extreme people. But it takes nothing at face value.
Right.
Forms his own spin on whatever story he's doing. He's absolutely the best person working in conservative media right now, and I don't think there is a close second.
No.
I don't think there and the show's cooled off a little. It's not what it was when it first came out, when it was like
right,
awesome to watch.
But it couldn't be because, he was a Venus flytrap.
Morgan says Clyde Lewis.
Who the hell is Clyde
I
Lewis?
don't know who that is.
Clyde Lewis. So you're hearing him in Vermont, Morgan?
But yeah, Tucker's not
radio host Clyde Lewis.
Tucker's not what his show was when it first started, that's for sure. When it was like really fun and nobody knew what it was going to be, because now he's huge, so it has to kind of change. But it's still the best thing on by a mile to everybody else. So, that's, everybody else, like Hannity, and I mean, I like The Five and I like Gutfeld and that stuff, but they're not doing anything earth-shattering. I think Tucker's the only person that you could put in a conversation with, like, a Rush as one of the greats.
Okay. I do think Rush did pioneer some stuff more than Tucker did.
Morgan says Ground Zero.
I see Ground Zero Classics with Clyde Lewis on Apple Podcasts. I'll check it out.
Alex Jones, maybe. Some people
he's
really
the best
like
at being Alex Jones.
Yeah,
no doubt about that. He doesn't, he puts it out there. No doubt about that. If you like him in that genre, then you've got to like him. I mean, if you thought Art Bell was working for you, Jones definitely is. I would say his Sandy Hook comments were a little off base.
Yeah, I think.
But, well, you know what? You know who the best is now?
Who?
Rogan.
That's true. Yeah, that's probably right.
He's the best out of a filter of just being the most real and intellectually curious. He's not the smartest or the quickest, He's just the most intellectually curious, and he's got this. He seems immune from the pressures of criticism and social media and the mob, all that stuff. Um, but yeah, so that's where I am. So my worry is, and there's like, there are young people I'm very impressed with who do. There's great music out now that I'm very impressed with, and there's some other stuff happening that I think is great. Like even Taylor Swift to be that popular. Usually the person who's that popular really sucks and is terrible.
Yeah.
Like who's the little blonde who was cute? Aguilera. She was really popular, but she really sucked.
Right, but I think part of what's happening right now is I like Taylor Swift. I think she's good, but I think part of why you're seeing the extreme popularity of Taylor Swift is because she is actually good and a lot of people aren't. Like, there's not a lot of competition in the actually good, like, for pop music. People who are writing their own stuff, doing something original.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of people in and out there. Like,
yeah, but look at like the Ticketmaster shows. Taylor Swift is the biggest music star in the world right now.
Right.
That's just not like, who could sell out that many tickets that quickly to that many venues?
I mean, there seems to be some controversy about how this is all happening. I mean,
it's mostly the issue with it is they didn't do dynamic pricing. So you remember Bruce Springsteen had a problem because the tickets were really super expensive and people thought that wasn't nice. Well, she didn't want to do the dynamic pricing. She wanted to make it affordable, but then you have enormous demand. More people want to go see the show than there are tickets. And if the prices are affordable for all those people, then like there's going to be a mad rush to get them and a bunch of people aren't going to get them who want them. There just aren't enough seats in the stadiums on the tour for enough nights so that all the people who want to go can go. That it's a supply and demand problem. She's the biggest star, I think, that is out there right now. Morgan says Taylor Swift can actually sit around the campfire and play songs, whereas other pop stars can't do anything. Yeah, I mean, early in her career, there's some videos of her, when she would go on live shows and stuff, and she was terrible live singing with the guitar. But I also think that's like kind of a hard thing. She was also really young and she's matured a lot as a musician and a songwriter, and she does write a lot of her own stuff. She did have co-writers on some of her early stuff. And then people were saying like she didn't really do it, so the next few albums she like was the only songwriter listed on any. She was the only like writing credit on any of the songs in her albums. I mean, she's a person who legitimately does it and has continued to do it for a very long time. She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to keep coming out with stuff. There aren't many pop stars who could come out with an exact replica of their first 6 albums and tell their fans to only listen to that version now to screw over the record company that bought them against her will, and that her fans would all do that. And I mean, but she's an original. But Julie and Phil say in the radio category, the Daily Wire crew, but hard to devote an hour plus to each one.
Yeah. Well,
right?
I mean, certainly Shapiro is thorough, and I subscribe to him. One of the things there, and I don't know how you could combat this because they're all doing essentially the same show, but we're doing the same show as they are too.
Yeah, so it's hard to I don't want to. You can't criticize them for that because we all see the same news. And,
But so I like Shapiro. I like Knowles. I like Andrew Clavin.
Matt Walsh.
Yeah, no, I like him too. He's a little bit different, so I'm all for that. But that is solid. They are good. There's no doubt about that. Maybe they want to take the Baron Barrel really well. Yeah, there are parts of the. First of all, you get into stuff for free, but there are 148 million reads in Ben's show. Not one charming hot sauce ad. But I know I like him. I love the work he's done. He did a great deal. He's a great service. Though all that whole thing that they're producing so much content is very important. Well, and they're
coming out with kids content too, which is huge. I think.
Oh, we got to talk to Bethany Mandel. What are we doing? Yeah. So I don't know. That's a good point. Ben, there are parts of him that he's definitely a geek. And geeks don't necessarily make you laugh a lot, although he does have a sense of humor too. But I'm right there with you. I do
But
subscribe to all of
Julian
his.
Phil saying, like, it's hard to devote an hour plus to each one. It's true. I mean, like, and there is a lot of sort of repetition there. Somebody has really got to be such a standout for you to go listen to their whole show all the time. And all of them have a huge following. So, there are obviously people that do, but the connection has to be more than just the news because, like, you have Candace Owens, you have Ben Shapiro, you have Matt
Yeah,
Walsh,
I
there's a
love
lot of
Candace
them.
too.
There's a lot of them, and like the ground that they cover isn't necessarily that different from each other. So you have
No.
to actually, the person has to be creating entertainment with their personality as well as just, relaying to you what's
Yeah.
going on.
And the guys from the Fifth Column podcast, those guys are great.
Mark
Bill-
Sardello wants to talk more about Taylor Swift. Go ahead, Mark. Add your
Those-
comments to the chat.
Yeah, go right ahead. Those guys, the Bill Maher podcast is, like I said yesterday, I think is fantastic. Fantastic. That's the one where he's getting drunk and high with people in his
Yeah.
romper room, whatever it's called. That is great. It's absolutely great. Him with Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider is fantastic. Man, so that was great too. And obviously the commentary podcast is probably the one I almost every day absolutely definitely.
Yeah, that's really like your favorite is the
right.
commentary.
And I've been listening to Jerry. I listened to Jerry obviously because Jerry is, like I said before.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry and I have kind of diverged a little bit. He in the sense that he was on my radio show today, but
Mm-hmm.
Jerry is finding audio from somewhere else. Jerry goes to different places to look for stuff that.
Yeah, his show today had some stuff that we hadn't covered.
Yeah,
been
that I don't necessarily see, and we used to be almost always will have had been
like
the
same
places.
stories. Yeah,
Right, but no, he's also a different lane. I think Jerry does think that the Arizona Kerry Lake election was stolen. He's a little more. He's off of Trump, but he's a little more gung ho about some. He wants a lot of revenge and stuff. So,
yeah. Speaking of Trump, there was like a fascinating tweet that somebody had where they were talking about like, and I hate this stuff too, where people are like, I talked to a strategist, but this guy said a veteran GOP strategist who's close to several 2024 camps tells me that Trump rivals smell blood. Says allies or donors of Hogan, Sununu, Cheney, and Christie all see openings for their picks to make enough of a case. Others close to Pence, Youngkin, and DeSantis are watching and waiting. What are all those people like? What do all those people think they're doing anywhere near the presidential race? Hogan, Sununu, Liz Cheney, Chris Christie.
First of all, I could deal with hearing out Sununu because I like him, but Hogan, no. I mean, he'd be good in the cabinet.
Sure, but like, I mean, we're really going to do this because here's the problem too, and especially if you're a person who thinks we shouldn't nominate Trump again, which is me. I know it's not some of our listeners, but the polling that shows DeSantis up is like head to head, the two of them polling. When you start adding all these other people and you start chipping off the anti-Trump vote, and he ends up in first again in some of those polls. Mm-hmm. And that's like not, I mean, unless they're all just saboteurs and they just want 4 more years of Joe Biden or whatever thing, because if people like Hogan and Sununu and Liz Cheney actually get into the presidential race as Republicans, then I just think they're trying to sabotage the Republican Party. Did Liz Cheney leave the Republican Party though?
No.
Okay.
Can I read you a news story from my friend from the Maine Wire?
Sure.
This is beautiful. This is actually not beautiful. This is so effing maddening. Social worker secretly began gender transition for 13-year-old girl in Maine public school. Mom. A Damariscotta mom demanded the resignation of several public school officials at a school board meeting Wednesday following her discovery that a school social worker had begun secretly transitioning her 13-year-old daughter's gender. In an emotionally charged address to the school board, Amber Levine said a central school system social worker at Great Salt Bay Community School in Damariscotta provided a chest binder to her daughter, a gender transitioning device the employee encouraged the young girl to keep secret from her parents. Levine said she never met the social worker, Samuel Roy, and had no idea. Of course, this guy's got all sorts of face piercings, whatever. So listen to this. The chest binder is a medical device used to flatten the appearance of breasts. They do this behind the mother's back. I want you to listen to this. Audio is not great because it's taken from a cell phone that's 50 feet away. But I want you to listen to a little bit of this. This is a mom very upset about what she found out, that they've been having her daughter on a chest binder, making more plans for her as well.
Amber Levine, Newcastle, Maine. On Friday, December 2nd, we discovered a chest binder in my barely 13-year-old's bedroom. Utilizing these devices can cause serious side effects. After discussing this with our 13-year-old minor child, it was revealed to us that the binder was given to her by a district social worker employed at AOF Central Lincoln County Maine Schools without our permission. Our child was originally assigned to another social worker employed at her school. When the new social worker took her into their supposed care in mid-October, we were never informed of this change. Nor did the newly assigned social worker reach out to us to introduce themselves. In my initial meeting with administrators regarding this heinous act, they expressed grave concern for a social worker in our school providing this chest binder to our 13-year-old minor child without parental consent. To our understanding, this person was not fired and will remain as is at AOS 93 Central Lincoln County Maine Schools.
So she breaks down even more in the next couple of minutes, and obviously she's horrified, upset. I mean, what a thing to find. What a thing to find.
Yeah.
Then after her comes this guy who's short in stature, named Chris Coleman. He's a 4th grade teacher in the town, and he rings a very different tone. Chris Coleman, 4th grade teacher.
Chris Coleman. Please identify your county residence as well.
Hi, my name is Chris Coleman. I'm a 4th grade teacher here at GSB, and I live in Nobleboro. So I bet if you went around our school and asked every single employee, not just teachers, what their most important priority for all the students is, after some thought, they would say the same thing. It's not math, it's not science, or spelling, or reading, writing, social studies, or any of that stuff. Our number one priority when we walk into this building every morning is the safety of our students.
That's what I was going to guess. Safety.
Well, if you're a teacher, you already know, but quite simply, children can't learn if they don't feel safe at school or at home. I could be the best teacher in the world, and that student who feels unsafe in my school will be completely lost and disconnected from what I'm trying to teach them. So why are we here? Why am I missing my daughter's holiday concert tonight? Well, I'm here because members of our community, and perhaps some from afar, have decided that our transgender students do not deserve to feel safe in school. They think we're giving them special rights, when in fact we are simply providing them the human rights they have been awarded by the state of Maine. The Maine Human Rights Act prohibits discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, which includes gender identity and expression. In 2019, GSB created our transgender policy, which helped explain how the Maine Human Rights Act applied to our school in regards to transgender students. Again, this policy is fully supported by Maine law. So here are some of the things you might hear this evening from individuals who do not support this policy. You'll probably hear someone call a teacher or staff member a predator or a groomer. I have to say, I'd be hard-pressed to find a more insulting or degrading comment. Sorry, I lost my place. Comment towards someone who has chosen to dedicate their lives to working with children. I hope we can be better than that this evening. Oh, and undoubtedly you will hear someone talk about trans students in bathrooms. We should just skip this topic entirely. It's a waste of time. In 2014, the Maine Supreme Court in Doe versus RSU 26 ruled that Nicole Maines, a transgender teenager, had the right to use the female bathroom in her high school. In the end, the court ruled that the school district had violated the Maine Human Rights Act I mentioned earlier. I was in a meeting the other day with a brilliant colleague.
Anyway, you get the point. How do you like that? The number one thing is not math, science, or it's safety. It's safety. That right there is where you get in that guy's face and say, back the F down, MF. It ain't safety.
That's what one of the helper teachers at our daughter's school said on like the parent teacher night. He was like, that was what he said his number one priority was student safety. And then I was at the holiday thing, and he had a bunch of little Christmas ornaments in his beard. It was feeling extremely unsafe around his decorated for the holidays beard. And then you're going to lecture me about safety around kids and all this stuff. Like, it's so ludicrous. And in the meantime, they're like handing out undergarments to children. It's so screwed up.
Just
like,
imagine.
I can't believe you would call me a predator. Well, stop providing my daughter with freaking
remember,
specialized
just like with
bras
Megan
for your
Watros,
weird perversions.
Just like with Megan Watros, she got upset and went to the school board and said, my 7-year-old daughter, you had her reading a book about a boy taking a trans journey that showed pictures of him in his underwear, and you won't let me opt out, and I'm very upset. The guy who came after her immediately said, oh, sounds like the Proud Boys. Another woman said, oh, she's a terrorist. Never having any empathy for her pain. Obviously, she's upset.
Right, like she started the whole thing.
Right. But
I don't know. And he goes like,
they never revisit the incident. There's like this as well.
And he goes, some from our community and maybe some from afar. As though everybody else from
News.
Other places like made up this mass hysteria.
But like this guy was the person to speak right after the mother. She got up there and fell to pieces in front of people. And he immediately got up there with no feeling and never referred to that or the specifics of what she talked about and said, safety is our job. We're not going to do anti-trans stuff.
Yeah, this is like the Virginia, I think it's Loudoun County, Virginia, where that stuff happened, where they arrested the dad because they were doing their huge like bathroom policy thing this was I think in 2020. And they arrested the dad there and they were saying that the rapes in bathrooms were a myth and all this stuff. And like the kid has been accused of like 2 different sexual assaults in bathrooms. This boy who's been in girls' bathrooms, including for that guy's daughter. And this has all been borne out as true now, but they like to like try and point back at some generality like, oh, Fox News, mass hysteria, groomers, this, that. Like, well, then stop grooming. I don't know. Like, maybe worry about the incident of grooming that you're a party to.
I'm a man. A young man with face piercings.
So weird.
I'm a young man with face piercings. It's important that I show your 13-year-old daughter how to strap this around her breasts out of safety.
I just want to make her breasts feel really safe. Like, okay, weirdo. Okay. Sounds good to me. Good parenting.
All right. Should we do the Chelsea Fire wicked hot line?
Can I hit 2 things quickly? I had 2 stories quickly that I wanted to share. One is a local story. This is December 19th in the Newburyport Daily News that I'm excited to see. This is going to require some follow-up, too. The owners of the city's newest restaurant say they are getting ready to offer their customers some good old comfort food while also paying their employees a sustainable living wage. Katie Hickey and Kristen Kilty are the co-owners of the Cormorant, which is expected to open its doors. Cormorant, yes, which is expected to open
Cormorant.
Cormorant, yes. That's what I said.
Not quite, but I'm fine.
Which is expected to open its doors next week at 228 Merrimack Street, where the former Mama Duke's breakfast and lunch spot most recently called home. Not sure about the grammar in that paragraph, but okay. Hickey said the 27-seat restaurant gives them an opportunity to offer customers a neighborhood diner that serves up comfort food such as smash burgers, sandwiches, salads, and even fraps made in an old Hamilton Beach blender.
What is a smash burger?
I don't know.
Oh, are we rethinking burgers?
We were thinking of chicken and dumplings, our house-made pasta with our Sunday sauce and jambalaya, Hickey said. Comfort foods that are all made in-house and speak to something you might have at your home, but elevated a little.
Elevated.
The Cormorant will offer...
They're not going to center the dumplings, I hope.
3 rotating entrees that
Hopefully
change weekly.
De-emphasize the fries.
As well as a trio of weekly dessert options. This is a town where everybody's expecting to cater to people coming in like tourists from out of town, Hickey said. We're saying, you know what? We're not that huge restaurant downtown. We're that small neighborhood place where we know our neighbors and they can celebrate their daughter's softball game victory, or 2 neighbors can catch up over a drink and a burger. Hickey previously served as the general manager for New Kitchen in Newburyport and Cafe Serena in Georgetown. They have plenty of experience in the restaurant business and have decided to offer all staff members what they say is a living wage, with tipping not encouraged.
What? Oh, okay, I get it. In other words, the chicken and dumplings cost $600.
Kristen and I have seen the downsides of the industry as well as the upsides. So in a market where everyone is fighting for labor, we want to say there's a problem and let's address it. So we're taking that opportunity and creating an environment for our staff where they're rewarded by being paid a living wage. Each full-time employee will earn the same wages for similar roles, both front and back of the house. They'll also receive paid vacation and sick time.
Similar roles.
This is something
Similar
that's
roles. They're not similar.
This is something that's unheard of in a fast casual restaurant. The theory is that they're staying with us because we're creating a sustainable life experience for them, which creates a stable work environment and a stable restaurant for our patrons. While a plate at the Cormorant may cost more up front, Hickey said,
Up front.
everything should balance out for the customer by the end of the meal.
Should.
They're going to have a wonderful plate of food, she said. It's going to be beautiful, and it will cost more. But in the end, their check isn't going to look different. It's just not going to have the tip byline. And if they feel so impressed by their service that they want to tip somebody, that's acceptable too. So they hope to open Friday, December 30th. I've been carefully watching their website for a menu. Nothing yet, but I will keep you posted when we find out that the burgers cost $46 each.
Even more than that. And you know what's going to happen with the staff anyway?
They're going to quit anyway.
They're going to unionize and just put it out of its misery.
What's your over-under on how long you think?
1 year.
You think it'll last a year? December. It's opening in Newburyport on December 30th.
I think every good progressive in Newburyport with a yard sign will go there once and say I did. And it was wonderful. And never go there again.
How much do you think our bill would be if we took our kids there with 6 people?
$2,600.
Yeah, something like that. I want to say, but I'm really excited.
But that's just up front.
So, but
that's
I
just
can't
up
believe,
front, Alice. It balances out.
I mean, I understand local papers have to do these little like puff pieces on restaurants opening and stuff.
It is news. The restaurant's opening.
Well, yeah, it's news. The restaurant's opening. But if you were the reporter, wouldn't you ask what exactly is meant by living wage, first of all, and what you mean by the food is going to cost more?
Not if you want to eat for free.
I mean, I'm just wondering. I honestly, like, that's the questions I'm left with as a reader of the Newburyport Daily News. So.
You would feasibly. Sally, can you let Pepper out?
But
and
that's...
that stuff is on top of the toaster. I had a piece of calzone. Did you love it?
Yeah, of course I loved it.
Good girl. She's downstairs.
So Morgan tells us that a smash burger is a really thin burger, kind of like a Big Mac. And Mark Sardella says it's trendy. Morgan says it'll never work. And what's the name of the place with the hammer and sickle?
Oh, is that the place in Cambridge?
I think so. The like communist place. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. But that has a sister restaurant opening.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Jason sent us that.
No, not the wine place.
Oh, in Cambridge? Hammer and Sickle? I know that there's the People's Republic.
Maybe that.
With a K? That's a great bar. I don't know that they serve food, but maybe they do. That's a great bar. That is right between Central and Harvard Square. Oh, great bar.
Yeah.
How do you know that? How does he know that?
I don't know. Anyway, I'll save my other thing. We can go to the chat.
What is your other thing? Just so I know if it was worth saving.
Oh, I just wanted to talk about the Boston Globe, the newest hit piece on Portnoy and Barstool.
Oh, really? Let's save that and the...
It's an actual editorial. The editorial board has weighed in on how unsuitable
Let's do that tomorrow. Let's remember.
Okay.
And I want the Boston Globe's Best Bostonians of 2022 mentioned tomorrow.
Taking Jerry's stories.
Taking Jerry's stories, exactly right. All right, here we go. It is the Chelsea Fire Wicked Hotline. Chelsea Fire Wicked Hot Sauce, obviously the best hot sauce out in the world. Find it at Market Basket. Find it at Shaw's Ignald. Is it Shaw's? I don't even know. No, it's not at Shaw's.
It's at Big Y.
Big Y. In other places around here. It's just great stuff. And a portion of the profits go to National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. Chelsea Fire Wicked Hot Sauce. It's really the best. It really is. I've been trying to test others. I've been buying it here. It's the best. Okay. So, Tom. Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm going to go over here to the thing. Okay. 9 hours ago.
All right.
Hold on. Here we go. You ready, Alice?
Okay, ready.
Hello, Justin the Hoosier here. I guess I didn't state my Mount Rushmore.
All right.
Okay, we got Salma Hayek.
instant
Solid?
in. Instant in. Oh, yes. If only she is the voluptuousness of 1992 Selma Hayek is very hard to match. Instant in.
And the reason for her as well, from Dusk Till Dawn, and then later on with
That's
the
what I'm
movie
talking
Frida. Number two, we got Halle Berry. Well,
yes.
it's quite obvious.
Just about a perfect looking human being, Halle Berry. Just about a perfect human being, I think. Just perfect. My goodness. I mean, yeah.
Swordfish, come on.
I didn't see that.
Number three, Trish Stratus was a big wrestling fan.
Trish who? I don't know who that is, but I do know
Trish Stratus.
wrestler?
Big wrestling fan.
She was the main reason why. And number four is Paul Rudd. He seems like a nice guy. Like he'd cuddle afterwards.
Tom loves him too, actually.
Paul Rudd is a comedic genius, and his
He
work
also
and role
doesn't
models.
age.
His work and role models should earn him 18 Oscars. That is a great. It's just a classic.
Morgan says he's a Juliette Lewis guy.
It's a niche. It's a niche, definitely. Very cute, very kind of out there, spacey. Do you know who she is, Alice?
I just looked her up. She looks familiar. What is she in?
She was in a lot of stuff in the late 80s, early 90s. She was actually.
Oh, she's in Christmas Vacation.
Right.
I think
but
that's
she got
what I know
known
her
as
from,
more
actually.
of an alt actress chick. She you know what she did?
She's in that new show Yellow Jackets.
She
that
pushed
people love,
Winona
apparently.
Ryder off the stage. That's what she didn't really, but she took her place kind of. I think Brad Pitt dated them both, or was that Johnny Depp? I'm not sure.
So I might be a day late and several dollars short on this, but for your T-shirt, how about take a short walk off a long jetty, and you can have a nice little illustration of someone falling off a jetty into a burn barrel in the ocean and never being seen again.
Seems complicated.
Also, what exactly was?
Hold on. I like that, Alice. I want somebody falling off a jetty into a burn barrel in the ocean.
You're straining my artistic limits here, Tom.
Never being seen again. Also, what exactly was Tom's invention yesterday? I really
What did I invent?
didn't catch that. You invented bringing clothes to Goodwill? Or you invented giving the incorrect email address twice in a row to your listeners? I'm very confused, but I'd love to know what your invention is.
What was my
Maybe you
invention?
could patent it and make some money. But
I don't know
as of
what
now, I
you were
believe the art of
talking
bringing
about.
clothes to Goodwill is pretty well covered. But
No. I
would
had
love
something
to hear
else.
more because it seems like things broke down from there.
I had something
Thank
else.
you, guys.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's right. I had recounting things I've done as spots. Do you get it in the style and tenor of a spot, a commercial?
Okay.
You get it?
I don't get it.
So, chafing dishes have always worked for me. They can work for you too. Today, I bought 3 chafing dishes for our get together with our family this weekend, and with inserts. It was very easy. I've found that the sternos you can decide on the
I don't
day
get
of.
it. What are you? How?
I'm pitching something. That's the only part I'm missing. I'm encapsulating
So
something.
why are you doing that though?
I'm encapsulating something I did today as a live read. Now I hand that to you, and you finish it. I've encapsulated.
Is this a new style of radio that you've invented?
Well, I don't know. I think it's sellable. This is a sponsorship opportunity.
Okay.
I've encapsulated something that I did today as a live
Let's
read.
talk about this more
Okay.
offline.
Okay.
Hey, Tom,
Yes.
any chance I could get that sergeant's wife's number? Times have been pretty tough here.
Not that tough, man. Not that tough. That would have been a horrifically rough adventure then. I can imagine now. Don't even. Oh, no. Believe me. Believe me. All of us have, Alice, don't listen. All of us as men have had companionships that we probably say, ugh, judgment was off on that one, or seriously.
Well,
like,
that was your mistake.
Well, yeah, I understand. What I'm saying is, You don't want her. You don't want her. I wonder if, by the way, you know what else?
So don't hook up
You know
with
what else?
people, then you won't have
It's literally 1992 is how many years ago?
30.
If that's it, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
Should I call up and see if the offer's still good?
Who knows?
Hey,
Maybe
I
it
think
is.
the guy's name was Jeff. Jeff, hey, Tom Shattuck. No, remember? Yeah.
You did tell me.
Yeah. Just, is it still cool? I mean, is there a shelf life on these things?
I mean, I don't know if I'm cool.
Well, Alice, you think I'm really going to? Although it's good to know that I've got one for the back pocket just in case something happens to you.
Good.
New England. Also, on your Mount Rushmore, you forgot to include Pam Grier a la coffee.
Oh, let me tell you, man, never has a woman looked so good and sexy as Pam Grier in coffee. Oh, my goodness. Oh, no, I'm thinking about when she was in the Tarantino thing, but she was a gorgeous woman. Maybe she still is. She is a gorgeous woman. Oh, man. Do you remember the Pam Grier Tarantino film? Was that called Coffee? Can you look it up? Pam Grier. Oh, one for the ages. That's the perfect. I'm sorry. Best of all worlds. Pam Grier.
I don't think that's a
What's the Tarantino? Tarantino, Pam Grier. Why is this taking this long?
You could look it up too, you know.
No.
You could talk. Phil, Tom, Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown. Oh, yeah. Oh, she's a beaut.
Jane Seymour from Battlestar Galactica days.
Was that Jane Seymour in that? Oh, my goodness. From the old Battlestar Galactica? No. The old one? Galactica? Is that true? Oh, my God! I used to love her. I never realized that was Jane Seymour. Oh, my goodness. The other girl in that is beautiful, too.
So,
that is hugely
Are you going to have to
important.
modify your Mount Rushmore?
Oh, this is destabilizing, to be honest. I didn't realize
You
that
only
was
got
Jane
4.
Seymour. Oh, my goodness. She was gorgeous. I used to have the Battlestar Galactica playing cards, like baseball cards, with pictures of her. That is... Oh, I'm going to have to I'm going to have to do some thinking. I'm going to have to take a walk in the woods in this one. That's a tough one. I can't believe it. I feel like I've let everybody down. I didn't know that was her.
Linda Carter from Wonder Woman.
Obviously, Linda, Lynda. Although I think usually...
She did recently tweet that Wonder Woman is a trans icon.
Yeah, she's not. Wonder Woman, it's all about S&M. She was a woman with huge, perfect breasts who would get guys in a lasso to get the truth out of them using her sexual prowess to do it. She is bueno. My brother was a Linda Carter person because he had brown hair like her. I was a Lindsay Wagner person because she had blonde hair like me. But believe me, Linda Carter is an American treasure. No doubt about that.
Days and Stephanie Powers from Heart to Heart.
Oh, come on with that.
Have fun,
Why
kids.
don't you find something from Falcon Crest, Stephanie Powers, please. Can't compete. Cannot compete.
Hey, Tom and Alice.
Hey.
It's hard to believe a gorgeous woman such as Leslie is single. She seems like she's pretty laid back and everything. If I was a little younger, she's like 25. So, and plus, if I live closer, I would definitely date her.
Well, she'd have a say in that, I think. Yes, she is lovely and a very... I'm afraid of her, though, because she's an alpha chick.
I could see that about you.
Yeah. I love it, and I do like abuse. But...
She did send you some audio, by the way.
She did?
You see that? In text. To use, because you requested for the hotline.
Oh, good. I'll check that out. For liners? That's great.
Yes.
I'll check it out. Thank you, Leslie.
Hey guys,
Hey.
after listening to Tom's incessant rant, which some might call whining, about his inability to lose weight as quickly as others, I think the question now becomes, how quickly will he put all that weight back on once he's off the program? Perhaps him using the numbers 380 and 385 was a Freudian slip and not a correctable mistake. Thanks for the show. Enjoy it every day.
Well, the problem is I've made the classic fat guy mistake is that I'm chucking out clothes for Goodwill that were fatter than I am now. Classic
I'm
mistake.
sure Walmart will have new ones, honey.
Yes. The great thing is the Walmart clothes, like I bought these same exact model pants 10 years ago from Walmart. They do not change at all. They are cargo long pants.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember how they felt. But yes, no, I would say, yeah, I could probably gain it all back. If I rock and rolled, 1 month.
But that's the good thing about Awaken 180 is they have monthly check-ins to keep you on track. And they tell you how to eat once you're off it.
Oh, do they, Alice?
They do.
Do they?
They do.
All right.
Okay, that is it for tonight. Tomorrow night's show comes to us from Connecticut, maybe. Well, you'll be in Connecticut for sure. I might still be here potentially.
Yeah, how are we going to do that?
Well, I want to stay and at least get Ants into karate probably. Then I'll probably come straight from karate.
Oh, right, because Sally's coming back. Who's going to let the dog out?
We'll let the dog out. They'll be home by 10.
Okay. Before you leave, you'll let the dog out.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, good. See you later.
C'est la vie.